Good morning, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Friday morning, March 22nd. Looking at Window Trader's market profile of the ES and NQ. So after all-time highs in the ES, the NQ, and the Dow yesterday, markets attempting early on here to pare back, right? In ES's case, I think it's very healthy. This market is up 20 out of 21 weeks straight up, basically. So I don't have a problem with this thing coming into balance, taking back yesterday's gap, and we come into a 3-day balance. The weekly would still be up, as would be the monthly. So I don't have a problem with that. NQ is a little different. NQ just stretched their balance high on the weekly. So if they are to start paring back, right off the bat, if you called the daily up yesterday, that's back to balance. And the weekly would still be in balance with the potential of just stretching the balance high, and now you have to start worrying about going to the balance low. Just early things to think about for them. Righty, right now, they're still up on their daily. Wide overnight POC. They're not near yesterday's low yet, but they're starting to head that way, as you can see. So game plan for this morning. If we gap lower, this would be the only case you could have a true island top, which means you made an all-time high on a gap, and then the next day you gap lower and leave the all-time high all by itself. Now, people will start screaming, especially the people who've been shorting for the past 20 out of 21 weeks as the market's been going straight up, that this is it, right? Read into it what you will. At least on the short-term basis, it would be a victory for the bears. But by no stretch of the imagination do I think our highs for the year are in. However, it would be interesting if we do gap lower today, hold today's gap, and fill yesterday's gap. Okay? Game plan early. Well, if we do gap lower and get the overnight low right away, depending on where it is, if it hasn't gotten yesterday's gap, then I would look for a short to go at least fill that gap. Okay? If by the time the market opens, the overnight low is below the previous Wednesday's high, you can possibly front run that overnight low again. Okay? First time. If we do get the overnight low, then pushes up, I would be looking to short for many reasons. Number one, you'd have lower value. Number two, you'd have the overnight low. So those would be two very strong things for me, which would mean I would be taking shorts. You could take it against the gap fill, get out there. You could take it against a wide overnight POC. Things of that nature, I'd still be looking for shorts on pushes up if we get that overnight low. And the same goes for NQ. Same type of scenarios. So hopefully we get range and volume today. Yesterday's range was one of the smallest of the year. The volume just missed being in the top 10 lightest of the year. We've talked about this. That's definitely an issue in the bigger picture as we make all-time highs. Because what's going to happen is it's the weakest of the weak that are bidding this market up. When they walk away and or some bigger sellers decide to take some profits, they can't absorb that. So what will happen is you'll wipe out a bunch of daily and weekly lows in one quick heartbeat. Again, that's not disastrous for the market. It just happens fast. It happens violently. And then you would come into balance on the weekly at some point. And then the big thing is, how do you come out of that balance? We will be recapping all of these charts from top to bottom tonight. For now, look, here's the weekly in SPY and ES. It's healthy. Okay? It's starting next week. Do we finally start taking out some weekly lows? Okay, we're not taking out last week's low today. So right now the weekly is still very healthy. The daily, okay, is going to come into, it looks like, a potential 3-day balance to start. Wednesday, Thursday, and today. Okay, and then we'll see what happens back inside of this huge balance. Good luck trading today. Thank you for liking and subscribing to this channel. And we'll recap the day and the week at 4 p.m.